Happy Victory Monday, Bengals fans. Cincinnati fresh off their 24-6 victory from yesterday afternoon against the Cleveland Browns, winning the Battle of Ohio, the first time the Bengals have swept the Browns in the regular season since 2017. So obviously a disappointing season to this point for the Bengals, but that certainly is a good aspect. Sweeping Cleveland, something you always want to do. But coming up on today's show, it'll be our typical Overreaction Monday video after the Bengals win yesterday. Going to have 5 potential overreactions, and I'll kind of give my thoughts and analysis on whether or not I do, in fact, believe them to be overreactions or not overreactions. Before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to hit that thumbs up icon for us if you haven't done so already. We are in a December like battle, and we need a miracle in order to overtake our Ravens channel here at Chat Sports. Just over a week to go here in the month of December, but we can still do a good job on this video, going for at least 400 likes on this one. So help us out. Hit that thumbs up icon if you haven't done so already. Let's get into these overreactions. The first one being bring back Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton has been terrific for you these past 2 weeks against Cleveland and last week against the Tennessee Titans as well. And look, I don't think this is an overreaction if you can get him for cheap. Hilton, of course, is going to be a free agent at the end of this season. I'll be the first to admit I've been pretty hard on Mike Hilton for the things that he has done out there on the football field this year. We have seen him get beat a lot more than normal, and it just doesn't seem like he can run with the receivers like we have seen him do in the past. But these past 2 weeks have been absolutely unbelievable. Look at that, 5 TFLs for Hilton these past 2 weeks. When you think about Mike Hilton out there playing football, you think of those vintage moments where he comes screaming off the edge and times out the blitz perfectly and is able to either tackle the quarterback or the running back in the backfield. He's done that 5 times these past 2 weeks, which is absolutely awesome from Mike Hilton. The coverage stuff certainly not as good as it could be, but these next 2 weeks are going to be really critical for Mike Hilton when it comes to him returning in 2025 or not. Again, I don't think this is a guy you can give a big deal. He obviously is, I think it's safe to say, he's probably past his prime when it comes to playing that nickel position. But if he can string together 2 more good performances here to finish out the year, I think you probably think about bringing him back in 2025 because he's been a big reason why you've been able to have success in recent years. Think about those 2 playoff runs. Mike Hilton defensively was a major reason why you were able to have that kind of success on defense. So I definitely think the Bengals should consider bringing him back in 2025. Leads us to the pinned comment of today's video. Would you bring back Mike Hilton in 2025? Type Y for yes or N for no. Let me know at the pinned comment of today's video. If that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comment section and let us know what you think. Overreaction number 2 here is you might have found some DTs. And, of course, I am talking about Kris Jenkins Jr., who was your 2nd-round pick out of Michigan, and McKinnley Jackson, who was your 3rd-round pick out of Texas A&M. I don't think this is an overreaction, but you still need to add to that room, either through the draft once again or in free agency. Probably the latter. I think you need to bring somebody else in at that spot. But they've shown some promise in recent weeks. Of course, their number is getting called upon because of this illness, this extended illness from Sheldon Rankins. Kris Jenkins Jr. had 2 sacks in this game against the Cleveland Browns. It's something that this Bengals defense has just been starving for these past 2 seasons, creating negative plays. Those are so big for your defense if you can get the offense, the opposing offense behind the sticks. Bengals haven't really been able to do that. They have been able to do it the past 2 weeks. I think that's why they've had some success. McKinnley Jackson, of course, as well. He added a sack against the Cleveland Browns. Jackson was going to get a game ball probably against Tennessee. If you guys remember, he forced that fumble, but then Jordan Battle couldn't quite get it across the goal line. He lost it. Ultimately, McKinnley Jackson lost his game ball. But then Battle said going into this Browns game, he said, we're going to get it turned around. We're both going to get a game ball for this Cleveland Browns game. And guess what happened? They both got one because McKinnley Jackson recorded his first sack. And Battle, of course, had an interception in the game as well. But definitely want to add to this interior of the defensive line in the offseason. Absolutely no doubt about it. But I definitely think you could have some pieces there with McKinnley Jackson and Kris Jenkins Jr. Again, looking for a free agent, potentially another pick at that spot because your run defense and applying pressure from the interior hasn't been good enough, but they showed some really good things for you out there on Sunday against Cleveland. We'll continue with our overreactions here in a moment, but first, want to give a shout out to our sponsor today. That is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks, as we mentioned. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. That's right here is their flex play option here at Prize Picks. Our guy Matthew Peterson threw this together for the game tonight. He's got the Jordan Love less than on passing yards. Blake Groupie, the kicker for the Saints, the more than for him. And Spencer Rattler, the less than for his passing yards, quarterbacking the New Orleans Saints tonight. The nice thing about the flex play, you can still miss one of those selections and still have an opportunity to double your money. So download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. Next one here is Burrow should be getting some MVP love. Obviously, Joe Burrow is playing at an incredibly high level. He added 2 more, highlights to his reel this season with the essentially Superman passes, what they're calling it, to T. Higgins on the first touchdown, and he had one where he was able to dump it off to the tight end somehow as it looked like he was going to get sacked, and he still got it off. He's been absolutely unbelievable for you. And look, I don't think this is an overreaction at all. Joe Burrow is playing quarterback better than anybody in the league. Maybe you could argue Josh Allen is playing better. He, of course, is the favorite to win the MVP. Burrow, again, was spectacular yesterday. Had 3 touchdowns again, 7th time in a row, I think, over 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just an unbelievable stat. Completing a lot of his passes, 23 for 30 as well. But when you look at the MVP race, taking a look at some of these odds earlier this morning, it's pretty hard to believe to see him down there at plus 15,000. I understand when you're talking about the MVP, a lot of times you need the player. It's really for all these season-ending awards. The player to be on a team going to the postseason and a really good football team. But Josh Allen, I think, at least made this a conversation with his performance yesterday against New England. Wasn't his best. Also hurt his hand in that game. So we'll see how he is over the next 2 weeks. But Joe Burrow, in my opinion, is playing just as well, if not better, than Josh Allen. And when you talk about most valuable player, right? How many wins does this Cincinnati Bengals team have without Joe Burrow? If you just have a normal NFL quarterback out there playing, they have 2 wins, 3 wins maybe. I think Joe Burrow definitely defines most valuable, particularly with this team here in the Cincinnati Bengals. Not saying he should win it, but I think people at least need to be talking about him in the conversation for the MVP, and I don't think that's something we've really seen here this season. Another opportunity for you guys to get involved with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. Should Joe Burrow be in the MVP combo? Type 1 for yes or 0 for no. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Next one here, Yoshi is a long-term piece. I really love Andrei Iosivas and the things he is able to do out there on the football field as a wide receiver, and I don't believe this is an overreaction at all. Clearly, the rapport that he has with Joe Burrow, the chemistry is very, very strong, and particularly in the red zone. Taking a look at this, 6 touchdowns for Andrei Iosivas this season for the Bengals. He's a guy that Joe Burrow really trusts down in the red area. And he's also terrific in the scramble drill as well. You know how Joe Burrow loves extending those plays. Kind of has to go off script when things break down. He can always trust Yoshi to be in the right place at the right time. Again, Yoshi is just in his 2nd year of his rookie contract here with the Cincinnati Bengals, so at least going to be locked up for 2 more additional years. But I would like to see him be a Bengal for a lot longer than that. We'll see. If T. Higgins leaves, do I think Yoshi can be that wide receiver too? I don't know about that quite yet, but I definitely think he is a winning player and a good piece for your organization going forward. Last one here. Bengals defense is on track. Bengals, of course, only gave up 6 points in this game against the Cleveland Browns. We've had a bunch of positive, that's not an overreaction throughout those first 4, right? Well, I'm turning the tables here because this is a complete and utter overreaction. That's great. You played well against Cleveland. It's awesome, right? String together 3 wins. It's a lot to be proud of, a lot to celebrate. But let's keep it real here. The defense has been an absolute disaster, and you've been playing poor teams here these past couple of weeks. And the Cowboys, the Titans, and then the Cleveland Browns, who went with DTR in this game. Clearly, he is not a better option than Jameis Winston. Your defense needs a complete retooling, a complete revamp. I'm still looking at blowing this whole thing up in the offseason, keeping Trey Hendrickson, and trying just to go from there. But proud of the defense, happy for those guys that they put some things together. But let's not get a little carried away here and think this is going to be, oh, this Bengals defense is fixed. You were playing the Cleveland Browns, who are a dysfunctional offense without a quarterback, and you went out there and you did your job. But let's keep in mind, you still needed those turnovers. You still were very turnover reliant in this game. It was nice to force some punts, don't get me wrong, but the Bengals needed to be forcing more punts in the future. And you just even watching them, you're always holding your breath, wondering, oh, when are they going to give up a big play? You saw it with the first play of the game when Jerome Ford nearly took it to the house. Luckily, they were able to bounce back, play really well. But let's pump the brakes here. It was a great week. It was a great win. It was a great outing by the defense. But there still is a ton to clean up on that side of the football. All right, so if you guys want a Bengals playoff picture video later in the week, you got to hit that sub button. We are planning on making one of those. The Bengals, of course, still alive and will be going into next week's game against the Denver Broncos. So don't miss out on that video. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/BengalsTV.